Well, hello to our dear audience and friends. Hello, ladies! Martin is back today. I'm back again to talk with all you ladies about the ways you can become the kind of woman that makes a man utterly captivated for a lifetime, unable to let you go. I'm just saying that for fun, but in reality, there have been so many discussions about what women need to do, what qualities you need to cultivate, what virtues you need to become a modern woman so that you can be loved more. So, today, following that same theme, I'd like to share something with you ladies. If you possess the following 6 qualities, then it's certain that your husband will be infatuated with you. He won't be able to get you off his mind, and you will definitely be loved so much more. Right? All right, ladies, listen closely. Okay? First, men really like a woman who knows how to listen and how to keep a secret. When it comes to listening, that's something everyone wants. Really, it's the same for both men and women. Many people assume that communication is all about just trying to talk. Talking just for the sake of it, talking a lot, talking fast, talking as if you're afraid someone will steal your turn. But the greatest communication skill is the skill of listening. The more you are able to listen, the more information you'll retain. You learn all sorts of different things when you're communicating, when you're talking with someone, especially with your husband. The more you show that you're intentionally listening and encourage him to share more, the more he will open up to you. But if, before he's even finished his sentence, you're already rushing to snap back, arguing back, just reacting, then that's it. He's going to stop talking. Right? You know, there's a saying in life that there are few speakers, but many listeners. But everyone wants to talk, and nobody wants to listen. Therefore, a woman who knows how to listen, who even encourages a man to speak, is definitely someone that man will adore. There has to be a listener. Your husband is already a man of few words. But today, for some reason, he has a funny story to tell. He brought it home from the office or his workplace. He wants to share, "Hey, the funniest thing happened at work today." A skillful person would respond with, "Oh, really? Wow. For you to have a story you're actually eager to tell me, that means it must be an incredibly good one. Go on, tell me, instead of hoo-ha, another story from your office. I know how this goes. It's probably about you and your buddies getting drunk and going for massages, the full A to Z treatment. Well, if you shut him down like that, then it's over. He'll just think. If that's how it is, I won't say anything anymore." So, the skill of listening is extremely important. And this ability to listen, it's a special charm that women possess. It's not just listening, but also knowing how to keep a secret. Because women often have a tendency to gossip a lot. They gossip a lot. Not all of them, but a great many do. The moment they hear something, a short while later, they've already passed the news on to the friend right beside them. And then, a little while later, the whole office knows. If this were a village, the whole town would know. I once made a funny clip about this very topic, about how every time women pass a story from one person to the next, they add a little spice, a little salt and pepper. It turns into a game of Chinese whispers. By the time the story reaches the 4th or 5th person, the original story is completely gone, or a molehill has been turned into a mountain. So please, keep this in mind, ladies. The charm that makes a woman captivating is the ability to listen and to know how to keep a secret. The second thing, or the second characteristic, that women should have to make their man absolutely smitten is to be a person with a kind heart. Someone who knows how to care for others. What is a kind heart, you ask? It's always thinking of, always loving other people, even those who you might think are not good people. Loving yourself, and then loving your children, loving your husband. Having a kind heart, knowing how to care for others. What is a kind heart, you ask? It's always thinking of, always loving other people, even those who you might consider to be bad. Loving yourself, and then loving your children, loving your husband. And when we have a heart like that, a man will deeply respect you for it. It's one thing for your husband to love your parents. Everyone has that. But the real challenge is learning to love both your parents-in-law, to love your husband's entire family, to love his background and circumstances. There may be things that aren't what you hoped for, but you still choose to be kind. You still choose to love them. Now that is true kindness. Because, well, loving your own flesh and blood, that's a basic instinct for every species, for every person. But to love even those people who you feel have no blood connection to you whatsoever, like your father-in-law and mother-in-law, right? It's simple, really, because you love your husband. You marry him, and so you must call his parents, mom and dad. You must call his older brother. You call his younger siblings your own as well, and you accept his relatives as your own kin, your own family. There's a saying that goes something like this: because you love one tree, you learn to love the entire forest. You can't just go and chop down the whole forest, just to rush in and hold on to that one single tree, right? The tree is beautiful because it stands within that forest. It's part of that forest. While other trees may be smaller, this one grows tall and reaches up for us to notice and admire. So be kind. Don't be envious. Don't think malicious thoughts. Don't think of ways to harm other people. That is the best quality a woman can have. It is the most precious piece of jewelry she can ever possess. It's not the ring on your finger, not the bracelet on your wrist, and it's not some diamond necklace or anything like that worn around your neck. Those things can be lost if they happen to fall. A thief could snatch them away, and you might even get hurt or have an accident in the process. But that quality, that inherent goodness, that kindness and love for everyone, it's inside your heart. No one can ever take that away from you, and it will always sparkle. It will always shine, sparkling brightly forever. So ladies, please pay attention to the second quality, one that makes a man completely captivated and unable to leave your side, and that is a kind heart. For the third point, I think many people assume that, oh, how can a woman possibly stay calm? But in this case, it's actually crucial to possess a calm demeanor when you face crises, difficulties, or unfortunate things that happen to you personally, to your children, or to your family. Life teaches us that if you aren't calm, you can't get anything done at all. For example, your child suddenly gets sick. They're sick, and of course, every mother loves her child. But that doesn't mean you just sit there crying, "Oh my God, my child, you're so sick. What am I supposed to do now? Why is your fever so high? Why won't you wake up? My child, please, say something. You're just lying there so listlessly. I'm so scared. I'm panicking." My goodness, if you just sit there and wail from now until nightfall, do you think the child's fever will go down? Do you think they'll wake up? You need to immediately think about what to do. In a critical moment like that, what should you be thinking about? First, if your child has a fever, you must find a way to lower it. Get a cold cloth, soak it in cold water, fold it into a quarter, and place it on their forehead, or wipe their entire body. Because if you let a child's fever get too high, they can easily have a febrile seizure. And a febrile seizure affects the nervous system. It affects the brain. Even if they recover later, it can leave lasting complications for the child. There are even cases of what is known as an intellectual disability. This is precisely because they suffered a febrile seizure during an illness and didn't get emergency medical care in time. After you've lowered the fever like that, you then calmly call someone, ask for help, to take the child to the local clinic, to the hospital, or to the emergency room. This is instead of just sitting there in a complete panic, running back and forth frantically. Oh my God, and oh good heavens. After that, we have to stay calm. It's the same at home. Let's say one night, while a husband and wife are sleeping, you open your eyes and see a burglar. An intruder has snuck into your house. Remember, when an intruder breaks into our house, what is their main goal? It's to steal things. So, if an intruder has already managed to get into your house and is stealing things, it's best to just let them take something and go. After that, that's when you make a little noise. Pretend to turn on a light. Pretend to cough. Pretend to roll over in your sleep. Intruders are always afraid of people. The moment they sense movement, what do? They'll head for the door and run. At that point, you can shout or do whatever you want. But many people lose their cool. They open their eyes and see a burglar in the house, and they completely panic. Oh my God, honey, there's a thief in our house. Oh my God, honey, there is a thief in our house. And what happens then? An intruder's biggest fear is being exposed. Because if they're exposed, the neighbors and people nearby might rush in and beat them to death. So the first thing they'll do is hit you over the head so you can't scream anymore. Or they'll grab a rag and stuff it in your mouth. Or they'll take a rope and strangle you. To do what? To silence you, so you can't cry out anymore. Many cases where people have been murdered are precisely because they opened their mouths. They die because they couldn't stay calm, because they panicked and made a huge scene. So, it's best to try to avoid getting into a difficult situation in the first place. But if you do end up in a difficult situation, don't let a bad situation become a disaster. Don't turn something small into something huge. Your health and your life are the most important things. As for everything else, if it's lost, it can be found again. What's lost can be earned back. That's why, in every situation in life, you must stay calm. That's why, in every situation in life, you must stay calm. In life, always try to stay calm. It's a life skill that really needs to be practiced. Because just shouting and screaming, rushing around in a blind panic, that's just instinct. And sometimes instinct doesn't help us much. In life, it must become a life skill. Alright, the third thing I want to remind you, ladies, is to stay calm in every situation in life. Another characteristic or another quality that I truly hope all of us have, but especially women, is honesty. What is honesty? Honesty is not cheating or lying. It's not denying what you've done or taking credit for what you haven't. It's not making a mountain out of a molehill. And don't just fabricate stories. Don't be deceitful. The worst thing is to lie and then shift the blame onto others. You take one tiny detail and blow it way out of proportion. That kind of thing only fools a few gullible people. But for people who are sharp and intelligent, people with wisdom, they will immediately realize that this woman is a liar. This woman is a fraud. Yeah, she's always making things up. This woman is dishonest. And if you lose someone's trust once, they'll never believe you again. Now, if you live among your family and relatives, your clan, or at your workplace, and every time you say something, people just go, "Oh, please." How can anyone believe a word that comes out of her mouth? Wouldn't you feel awful? It gets to the point where people are so wary that they'll say, "Why even bother listening to her?" Or, trusting anything she says is a surefire way to ruin yourself. That's because she has been dishonest so many times. If there's no story, she'll make one up. Or, if something isn't a big deal, she'll blow it up into something huge. So please, try your best. We are women, and though it's the same for men, it is especially important for a woman to be completely honest, because lose trust once, and you'll never be trusted again. People won't believe you anymore. So, live your life in a way that allows people to trust you. So when you speak, they will actually listen. Because if you speak and people just turn their backs on you, then that is a failure. So please try. As women, and though it's the same for men, it is especially crucial for women to be honest. Especially for women. Try to be honest. However, here's a little reminder. Honesty doesn't mean being thoughtlessly truthful, where you just happily blurt out everything, right? Honesty doesn't mean that if you see a female boss and her teeth happen to stick out a little bit, if other people are complimenting her on how radiant she looks, then you should just compliment her too. Or better, yet don't say anything at all. Don't just jump in and say, "Hey, oh, that's so funny. Why are your teeth sticking out like that?" Obviously, if her teeth are protruding, they really are sticking out. But that kind of truthfulness is a destructive kind of honesty. Or let's say you see something sensitive involving your neighbors and you happen to walk past your male neighbor's house and you see that he's showering but he forgot to close the door. You clearly saw him like that. Then the next day on the street you say, "Hey there, geez, why didn't you close the door when you were showering yesterday? I was walking by and I saw." Everything? My gosh, doing that would just embarrass your neighbor, wouldn't it? So, that kind of honesty is a destructive kind of honesty. Remember, being honest is different from being destructively truthful. Women need to be honest. Okay. The next thing, or the next quality, is something I've probably mentioned here and there many times before. That is intelligence and a sense of humor. Everyone needs intelligence. Intelligence helps us live better lives. Intelligence helps us solve many of life's problems together with our husbands. As they say, 2 heads are better than 1. At home, if you have an intelligent husband and on top of that, an intelligent wife, whenever a problem arises in the family, the husband and wife bring it up. Each person looks at it from a different perspective. Then they contribute their opinions. And then they come to an agreement to find a solution. More intelligence so that we together with the person, our husband, solves many problems in life. 1 tree does not make a hill. 3 trees clustered make a mountain. High at home there is an intelligent husband. Again, there is also an intelligent wife. When something happens in the family, the couple brings out. Each person looks at a different perspective then, contributes ideas then, agree together to come up with a. As for the solution, it's that one solution that suits both the husband's opinion and the wife's. Wouldn't that be great? Right? It's not like we should just think that because we're women, we don't need to be smart. Just leave everything to fate. Whatever happens, the kid's dad will make all the decisions. For example, a long time ago, about a few decades back, I heard this, saying that when men choose a wife, they often look for a woman with the 3 N's. For example, a little bit N gone, which means her appearance is easy on the eyes. Attractive. Second, a little bit NGON, which means she's obedient, virtuous, a good listener, and knows how to share. And third, a little bit in goo, meaning for everything. She'd say, "Oh, whatever you think, honey. It's up to you. I don't know. I don't understand these things." Basically, she humbles herself to the point of admitting she knows nothing. That was from about 20 years ago. But now, in the age of technology, 4.0, young men are a lot smarter too. When they choose a wife, they don't pick a woman who's too dumb. And we all know, online, no matter how beautiful a woman is, if she doesn't handle situations intelligently or tactfully, she'll get dragged, as usual. People still demand that besides being beautiful, women also need to be intelligent. So don't forget to try to be both smart and have a sense of humor. And for the last point, I believe no one will argue with this. It's that men truly cherish, truly appreciate, and are absolutely captivated by Vacat Liva woman who is deeply loyal and faithful, who is consistent through and through. Loyalty here is a commitment. A commitment that once you've gotten married, once you've followed him home, if he faces hardship, you overcome it together. Even through hardship, you should never betray each other. It's not about seeing that when he's doing well financially, you're all lovey-dovey. But the moment you see him sick or ill, or facing difficulties, or the family's fortunes declining, you start looking around, your eyes wandering, glancing at this well-off man, looking at that tycoon over there, seeing this guy has this, seeing that guy has that, and then letting your emotions get the better of you, leading you to become what the elders would call an easy woman. And an easy woman, well, probably only a few. Men who like that kind of easiness would cherish her. Otherwise, decent. Men, good husbands. No one wants to have a wife who is unfaithful. No one wants to one day be cheated on by his wife, to have a pair of horns put on his head. Because, for a man, of all the countless pains in the world, the pain of being cheated on is the greatest pain of all. Yes, so those were the characteristics, the qualities of a woman that we should strive to have, so that our man who lives with us will cherish us more, so that we can become more complete women in the eyes of all our loved ones, so that we can feel life is more joyful, and so that we can be happier. Although it's difficult, you ladies might say it sounds theoretical and very hard, but it's because it's hard that we need to share about it. And it's because it's hard that we need to learn. If it were easy, who would bother sharing about it? Right, everyone? Try to listen. Out of the 5 things or 7 things that were mentioned, if you only have 3, then try to make it 4. If you already have 4, then strive to make it 5, then 6, so that gradually we can improve ourselves. Because if you ladies don't yet have any of the qualities or characteristics that I have listed above, you can't just all of a sudden have all 5, 6, or 7 of those qualities. That's very difficult, isn't it? Once you have the foundation, then you can start building upon it. But trying to become perfect when you're starting with nothing is extremely difficult. I hope that I'll get to see you all again in our other topics and other discussions, so that the lives of all of us can become even better. Goodbye.